Preparing stream. It's loading still. I'm getting a million pop-ups on. Okay, think it should be good now. I think it's loading. I think it should be good now. All right, I think we're live, Alex. I'm pretty sure we're
Great.
live. All right, awesome. I will turn this down and great. Welcome to the very first Fit Parents podcast interview. I don't know how we want to call it yet. It's too early to do this. I'd like
we
to
can
introduce
brand it
Alex.
later.
What did you say?
I said we can brand it later once the first one is done.
It's you have a say in this. What do you want to call it?
Interview is fine. Interview is good.
All right, awesome. This is Alexandra Trandafir. She is a long-running client of mine. She did in-person PT with me, online as well now. She started with Coach Jentel even in the time when we were still at our old location. You even trained with me in CrossFit, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I actually coached you, but we were at the same time we were at the CrossFit.
Yeah, no, we actually met there. We were training at the same place. I don't think you were a trainer there at that time, but we met there.
Yeah. Well, there's where we go. And then and then you moved to 3-1 Fit when we started that. So welcome. Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Alex, as you said. I'm originally from Romania. I've been living and working in Belgium for 8 years now. And yeah, I recently had a daughter called Daria. She's 8 months old. I'm pretty settled in Leuven for now. So both me and my boyfriend live here for a while. And I also work in Belgium. I work in Brussels regularly during the pandemic from home, actually. I'm a communications manager for the American Chamber of Commerce in Belgium. That's in a nutshell.
Alex has really nice pictures with her baby always. Daria seems to always be smiling super nicely.
I only put the pictures where she's smiling.
So yeah, yeah, I guess. There should really be like one of those Instagram accounts where it's like honest parenting, where it's like poop all over and vomit and crying and coffee. And but I guess that's not what people want to see.
No, we've had a few moments of those, but usually it's actually mostly laughter. So.
Oh yeah, okay, that's nice to hear. Nice to hear. Daria is now 8 months old, right?
Absolutely, yeah, 8 months.
And she's doing well?
She's doing great. She's sleeping now, but I'm sure if she had a say in this, she'd say she's doing very good.
All right, well, that's great to hear. Awesome. You were very active before, doing a lot of activity with 3-1 Fit on your own. You did some stuff, and then Daria came. How did that impact your? Let's start with pregnancy. How did pregnancy change your look on sports and on food as well? We were talking about some cravings before the podcast started. Before, after, can you tell me something about that?
Yes, so I mean, I'll start with what I was doing before because I think it's important to compare the two.
Yeah,
sure. So I was, as you said, I was super active. I was doing personal training with you. I was participating in the group classes as well as 3-1 Fit. And I also started the online training, I think, at the beginning of the pandemic, actually, and stuck with it even in the moments where we could go back to physical training. So I think on average, I was training 5 times a week, quite intensely at times. And I enjoyed a lot of strength training. And then the pregnancy came. The first 3 months were pretty difficult, I won't lie. So I wasn't really able to be active. But then I was lucky that from month 3 to month 8, I could work out. Of course, the intensity level was much lower and the exercises were adapted to my condition at the time. And I stuck with the online training for that period. And then Daria arrived. I was very lucky that I felt very fit. So I think that having worked out before my pregnancy really helped me with the delivery and with recovering very fast. I think it was very important. And I believe it was 2 months, 2 months and a half after I had Daria that I started working out again. And let me tell you, it was pretty different than before. Yeah, I
Wait,
think
when did you stop exercising before Daria?
when I was 8 months pregnant. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's still
about 8 months
quite
pregnant.
late that you were able to exercise. That's pretty good. For Sam, it's not. For the listeners who don't know, my girlfriend is pregnant. She's almost 6 months now, and she's doing well, daily walks and stuff. But heavy activity is not an option right now. So it's so different for everyone.
Yeah, I felt very lucky because I had a lot of energy. So once the first trimester, was gone, I felt really super energetic. So that was good. Of course, towards the end, I started feeling a bit heavier. Obviously, I had another person with me. But yeah, I felt good and energetic, and I could do a lot of exercises. As I said, modified and very careful, but I was able to work out, and I always listened to my body.
Yeah.
And after Daria, I think the biggest shock was how little time I had to work out in the past. It used to be a priority for me. It still is a very important part of my life, but I think now it always kind of takes second role after Daria, like everything else in my life. But that's okay because there's a way to work around that. So I currently am part of the online training, and I do on average 3 workouts per week.
Yeah, that's also something we adjusted, right? Before it was 5, and then you went to 3. I think it's also a matter of like changing expectations and changing your priorities, as you mentioned yourself, right? It's different now. There's a third person in your life, in your family, I mean. And that person cannot take care of herself right now. So yeah. And do you find, is it for you, is it time? Is it energy? Is it both that really make it harder?
I think it's a mix, obviously, because the sleep quality is not as it used to be. So I try to be quite disciplined and go to sleep early, but of course there are wake up calls in the night. There's still work, so I have to wake up early in the morning. So the sleep quality will never be the same as before, at least for a few years, I believe. People tell me until she turns 18. I hope not. But I think it's a mix of energy levels and time. So I believe planning is very important. So if I manage to plan, and that's really the secret to everything, in my opinion, half an hour doesn't really seem too long in the whole day. So there is always half an hour, and to be able to be perfectly objective. Whether you want to spend that half an hour working out or just putting your feet up and watching a soap opera on TV or whatever, that's a different thing. But that relates to the energy level and sleep deprivation, and it's sort of a vicious cycle.
When do you usually, because that was probably what most parents want to know, like how do you find time? You already answered with planning. What works best for you? Is it morning, evening? You don't have lunchtime because you have to go to the office. Well, you have lunchtime, but you probably don't do it at work.
Actually, evenings work best for me, I've discovered. So I work out usually at this time after I put Daria to sleep. So Daria sleeps around 7:30, and then I motivate myself and start working out, which means that I can still have dinner by 8:30, and it's not tremendously late. Have dinner and then maybe still be in bed by 10:30. So if everything goes according to plan, that's usually the scenario. And on some days when I don't have many calls because I work from home now, I actually have the luxury of just changing and going on the mat and saying, okay, I'm going to take a 1 hour lunch break, which is rare, but it happens, and work out.
Right. You said if everything goes according to plan, I'm guessing that doesn't always go to plan. What do you do when you're like halfway through that workout and all of a sudden, emergency, a literal shitstorm or whatever it may be? What do you? Yeah, I guess the first thing you go is to go to diarrhea, right?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, in the evenings it's a bit easier because I'm here with my boyfriend. So if he allows me to have that time, obviously, and he's on duty, of course. But when I was still on maternity leave, actually, I was working out while she was sleeping during the day. So I had a different schedule. And there were these moments, as you say. So I was interrupting the workout. I was going to soothe her, and then getting back to it. So it can work. It can definitely work. It just ends up taking longer.
I really think you touched on a key subject there when you say that your boyfriend, he takes care of Daria when it's your time to exercise. And I feel like a lot of parents, from what I hear, don't feel okay, especially moms. It's just the case. Moms don't feel okay ditching their child for half an hour. Like spending time for themselves is really, really hard. And I guess you must have had it in the beginning as well, that little bit of guilt, although it's totally unnecessary. I mean, you're like literally 5 meters away, 10 meters away, probably. How can you feel guilty? But I hear it so often, so it must be. Yeah. Is that something hard to overcome? Well, it's your boyfriend, of course, the person you trust, but is it hard to overcome?
I think it is. I think it was one of my biggest challenges. The feeling that if you take some time for yourself, or if you put yourself first for half an hour or an hour, it means you're a bad mom, or you're not taking care of your child, or whatever other crazy thoughts. Honestly, I'm still overcoming it. So it's not like if Daria cries in the middle of the night or in the evening and I'm working out, I still struggle to stay in my bubble and focus and let my partner take care of her. But it's something I realized, and that's also with the online trainings and with the check-ins we have regularly, that if I'm happy and if emotionally and mentally I feel okay, then I'm actually a better mom. And if I work out, then all those things follow. So I think it's an important connection there.
That is really key. You say that there too. Being a better version of yourself and that is taking care of yourself will translate to Daria, and she will somehow feel that. And later on as well, more energy. And you set an example, right? She probably won't register a lot of that now, but in a few years, she definitely will. So yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Do you feel like, coming to that subject of sports and parenting, do you feel like sports was something that was promoted by your parents as well at home?
At the beginning, I mean, when I was a child and in primary school, absolutely, yeah. I think I took tennis classes when I was a kid. I took dancing also. I was a very clumsy and chubby kid, so I was never good at any of those, but my parents were trying. I think it kind of went downhill in my teenage years when partying was more important than anything else. But in university, I picked it up again with the help of my parents. So my mom really encouraged me actually to start CrossFit. Well, to start something, and I discovered CrossFit in my university years. So that's when I actually started really consistently working out. That's about 10 years ago.
And are they also active, or were they active at that point?
At that point, none of them were really active. No, not really. I mean, they weren't the sportiest people. They weren't, couch potatoes either, but not, you wouldn't see them going hiking or anything else. But now for the past, I would say 10, 15 years, my mom is a Pilates fan. So she does Pilates 4 times a week almost. So yeah, and now we kind of keep each other accountable and hold each other accountable, and it works.
Yeah, I think it's really key. You say that there, that like stimulating by the parents is so important. I was also put into sports and multiple sports really early, and I was actually also pretty bad at them, like you in the beginning had as well, and then it gradually got better. But I was also the clumsy. I was a long, tall, skinny kid, and yeah, it was totally different. But
yeah.
also on parenting, nutrition. How do you approach nutrition with Daria right now? And are there certain things you already know that you're going to do later on, or you have some kind of a plan, or like a lot of parents have certain things on sugars, for example, or can't have chips or chocolate, or they're totally okay with it, or yeah.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling I'll be quite, and both me and my partner will be quite strict in that area. I mean, now she's only started eating real food outside of the milk.
Yeah, it's early.
Yeah. She's only started 2 months ago, so she's really exploring, but she's a very good eater so far. And we really try to give her different and new things all the time, so that she can try them out. We also have a subscription with a farm here in Leuven, so we try to make everything as seasonal as possible for both us and her. Now, obviously, it's a bit difficult in this month, but most of the year we can get veggies and fruits from the farm. And when we started this subscription actually 1 year ago, we had her in mind. So we thought, okay, when Daria is 1-2 years old and she starts walking, she can learn how vegetables grow, how fruits grow, what's in season when. So we thought that's a really amazing thing, because she grows up in a city. She's not in a village somewhere where her grandparents are growing things. So we thought that's really interesting for her to be part of. Yeah. Sugar, yeah, we'll try to keep her away as much as possible. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, right? You know they're gonna get chocolates, and it's not bad either. You don't want your 18-year-old to not know what sugars are. That's pretty ridiculous. But it's nice to hear you're already encouraging that healthier relationship with food and looking at it and stuff, and like knowing those things. It's probably really gonna help Daria later on. Yeah, that's interesting. How about your own meals? How did that change with Daria? Like, I'm assuming so you have less time. How did that change for you?
I think the key word is here again, planning. So we were always with my boyfriend, we were always good at preparing meals, but it was never really a must, right? Because you always find some time during the week to do it otherwise. Now that's not an option anymore. So I think if we don't prepare our meals for the week, we set ourselves for failure. So it will be a week of disappointing ordering in, disappointing quick meals. So we've been that road at the beginning, especially, and that didn't work out for us very well. So now we actually cook every Saturday and Sunday. So we plan on Fridays, and we cook Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay, and then you use a freezer a lot as well, I'm guessing.
Sorry?
A freezer?
Yes, sometimes, but not that much, actually, not that much. We use it, we've kind of stocked our freezer with all the things we took from the farm, so the raw things that were in season at the time, and now we use them for cooking. But we cook every week, we cook about 3 proper meals that get us through at least some of the lunches and some of the dinners. And then sometimes during the week, we put together a quick dinner or a quick lunch. But we try to stay as healthy as possible.
So really spending that weekend on prepping for the next week. It makes so much sense, Alex, and it's so how do you say it? Yeah, it makes sense, and but I feel like a lot of parents listening are probably like, oh my God, this is so much work. I'm too tired and stuff. And yeah, how do you prioritize that over watching Netflix or whatever? Is it just something you just do, like I this is important for me, or
I think we've learned also the hard way. We've had weeks, I told you, and we didn't do that, and it was really disappointing for us. We didn't enjoy the dinners because ordering in every night a pizza, or you don't have really healthy options. That's a lot of healthy options to order. There's also the financial part. It becomes more expensive actually to order every evening, and it kind of breaks your heart to know, I could have used this for something else, but I'm ordering frites again. So I think we've had bad experiences, and that told us that it really has to be a priority. And we also started making it a bit fun. So if we cook during the day, Daria is with us on her chair. So yeah, we show her what we do, and she feels all the smells and everything. So it's a family activity at the end of the day.
That's nice. You're combining doing something you need to do with something you want to do, spending time with Daria. That's always
Exactly.
really key. You can couple those two. It's really, really important. Oh, that's great to hear. So,
don't get me wrong, we still have a lot of hiccups. I mean, there are weeks where just planning, the recipes don't come out as you want, or whatever the reason, and you just want a pizza or you just want to be on the couch and do nothing. So don't get me wrong, we have plenty of those days. But if we didn't plan, it would be much worse.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And it's also proven, right? If you sleep less, especially in the beginning, that affects compounds into obviously less energy. And then you make worse decisions because we crave higher fat, higher salt, higher sugar meals more. And that's usually, if you combine those two, then takeout is the perfect solution, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, makes total sense. What for you are the biggest lessons you learned about your own health and fitness after getting a daughter? What were really the biggest changes and stuff you were like, oh, now
Tough question. It's a continuous learning process, but I think I was at the beginning I was a bit shocked of how quickly I can recover. So it's in a positive way. So I was very happy that I could recover so fast from the delivery and that I could get back to working out. But then I realized that I'm not as strong as I was before. So I've learned to take it a bit easier and to sort of be easy on myself as well. I don't need to be where I was necessarily, and I don't need to lift I don't know how many kilograms or to run how many sprints, I don't know, as long as I feel good about myself. So I think that's a big learning process, that to be easy on myself. That's a great lesson for me, and probably a paradox, but for me, Daria taught me to slow down. So that's related to my fitness as well. To say, okay, I can't do it all, but I'll do these things that are most important to me, and oftentimes that's working out. And the house can look a bit of messy, and these other activities can wait a bit. So she taught me to slow down and enjoy more the things that I'm doing rather than trying to do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really valuable lesson you tell us there too. It's not easy. I can only imagine that, because you got so many things you want to do and then you can, and accepting that is a hard. Did you do anything specific to do that, like any meditation, priority exercises, or anything, those kind of things, or you just stuck with it?
I think you helped me actually with one that works very well for me, is really writing things down. That really works for me very well, whether it's work or personal life. So I write the things that I want to prioritize in a day, in a week, in a weekend for that matter. And I get a lot of satisfaction of ticking them off the list, but I'm very, again, I go easy on myself when not everything happens, but I have a list of, 5 things. These are the things that I really want to do, and I try to fulfill them. And probably, again, another lesson that I've learned is that it's okay if it doesn't work out some weeks or some days. It's a matter of not making it a habit. So,
I really would hear you say multiple times in these last sentences with like acceptance, self-acceptance, that you're not going to be the same as you were before from your own health and fitness, but also that there's going to be things that you'll have to drop or are not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It just is. You can't always be on top of everything perfectly all the time. Awesome. Are there any other things that you would like to, messages you would like to give to people, parents listening, about your health and fitness as a young mom?
I mean, nothing else from what I said, but I think, yeah, the lessons that I've learned are quite valuable, and they don't necessarily apply only for having a child, but for any change in your life that kind of disrupts everything you were doing before. I won't lie, I'm a bit of a control freak, so I like my life to be planned and yeah, and sectioned, and this kind of brings a completely different dimension. And I think letting go and acceptance are probably the most important things. For me, the scale has never been an important factor. So I know that a lot of parents, a lot of moms, obviously think about losing weight after giving birth and so on. For me, that has never been such a huge thing, but I think if you don't think about it too much, then it will happen much faster. And if you focus on your well-being rather than you know, that number on the scale. For me, it happens, yeah, like this, just like that. Well, not just like that with working out and nutrition, but yeah.
Just like that with working out and nutrition. Making it look easy, Alex. All right.
But
Thank you
that
very
was
much.
never my end goal, so that's my point. Yeah.
It's just a number. It's just a number, and it's hard for a lot of people to realize that, because it feels like we're really, yeah, pinned down on that, but it doesn't define you as a person or anything really. Yeah. Thank you so much, Alex, for this interview. I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope a lot of people are watching this, listening this here or on the replay enjoyed this as well. Let me check if there's if anyone has any questions. Let me see if I can see this actually. Can I see this? So I don't see any questions here right now. If anyone would have any questions for Alex, be sure to let us know. And I think Alex will be able to wants to answer them.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. Just feel free to reach out.
I'll tag you in them after if I see anything. I see there's some people watching, but if there's any questions, be sure to type them. And yeah, thank you so much again, Alex.
Thank you.
You can always follow her at Better Mirror on Instagram. Or
I'm nowhere close to an influencer.
Still,
there's no time for that.
After this, you might. There's 3 people watching this live, Alex. I mean,
if
they all talk to 3 people and then 3 and then 3, you'll be Kim Kardashian before you know. All right, Alex, have a good evening. And I'll probably talk to you soon with you online.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.